Welcome to Bestie Talks. I'm Chelsea,
And I'm Corey.
and we're gonna be doing some talking back and forth, a little bit of stories here and there, and yeah, that's what this is about.
Yep, this is our first episode, so we will probably do some troubleshooting and fixing it up in the future. But for now, this is what we got.
Yeah, sitting in my chair, drinking some tea.
I was drinking tea, but I drank it all, and now I don't have any tea.
That sucks. Now we can't spill the tea, Corey. Look what you've done.
I can spill. Now I even drink my water, so I don't have any beverages.
Wow, you're gonna hate life in a minute.
I know I am. Okay, well, being the first one, do we want to talk about how we met?
Sure. I really like how you tell the story. How we became besties.
It's been a long time, so I don't know.
I'll chime in here and there.
Okay, so how it started was right out of high school for me. We're the same age, aren't we? No, you're
Yes,
older.
we're the same age.
Wait, I thought you were older than me.
We both graduated in 2008.
Well, okay, yeah, okay. Anyway, okay, so we graduated high school in 2008, and we had a friend who was a year younger than us. And how did you meet Emily? First off, I guess we should.
Well, I met Emily by going to the Suncoast cosplay events where they would like have a huge anime sale, and yeah, that's how I met her, is by us cosplaying.
I mean, that sounds about right, because you lived in
long ago.
Medford, and we were in Grants Pass, so different cities. I just met Emily because I went to school with her. And so Emily and I were like best friends. We did a lot together. We're hanging out. And I knew she had this friend in Medford. And I didn't really appreciate that because I was her best friend. But then this other bitch was like, I'm her best friend. Don't know what that was all about. Anyway, I didn't meet you at all before this. Okay, I didn't think so. I remember there were some weekends when I'd be like, hey, we should hang out. And she'd be like, sorry, I'm hanging out with my Medford friends. And I'd be like, bitch, what? I don't actually know how much you guys hung out, but to me, it seems like you were taking my best friend away from me, like, constantly. But I think, like, you guys only hung out, like, what, like, 4 times?
Yeah, we didn't hang out very often at all.
Yeah, but for some reason, I just had it in my mind, like, Chelsea was my best friend rival, essentially. And her mom messaged me. This was kind of before, like, Facebook was still a thing, but not nearly as popular as it is now.
It wasn't Facebook. It was AOL Messenger.
You're right, it was. I didn't use AOL, so it must have been MSN Messenger, which is just as bad, really. But yeah, her mom, like, messaged me one day and was like, hey, I want to do something fun for Emily's graduation, and I want to have you and her Medford friend, Chelsea, there. And I was just like, okay, what do you need me to do? And, like, I was not all that excited about it, really, because, again, Chelsea was, like, my rival. But, you know, Emily was my best friend, so I'm like, this could be kind of fun. She randomly was just like, okay, I'll give you her information. You two talk. And I'm like, what? I must have messaged you first then, right? Or did you message me first?
I don't remember who messaged you first. I just remember us talking behind her back.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly the details, but we ended up getting in contact with each other and we were talking and I'm like, this could actually be really fun because Emily, as far as everybody knows, like Chelsea and I hate each other. And it kind of became this game we would do where, like, Chelsea and I would purposefully be talking shit about each other with Emily around. But then, like, on the side, we'd be messaging each other, like, LOL, this is hilarious kind of thing. Because I remember Emily would get so mad because she would talk about Chelsea and I'd be like, oh, you don't need that bitch in your life. And she would get so mad. But, like, on the side, I'm, like, messaging Chelsea, telling her everything that I'm saying. And we were, like, laughing about it so much, but Emily was getting pissed. Like,
she was so mad.
I think she knew I was going to her graduation, but she didn't know you were. And I think at one point she even threatened, like, that she didn't want me to be at her graduation because of it kind of thing. I thought it was hilarious. And, like, I would tell her mom, too, and her mom thought it was hilarious. Like, everybody was laughing about this thing except Emily. But yeah, I don't remember how it came up exactly. The plan was for you to come and spend the night so you could be there for the graduation kind of thing. But obviously you couldn't stay at Emily's house because she would know, and that would defeat the whole purpose. And since you lived in Medford, you had to be there for the night so you could be there in the morning. And so you came and spent the night at my house, and that was the first time we met face to face. I remember you coming over and you had your Ditto cosplay because you were doing the like 30 days of cosplay thing. So you're like, I need your help taking a picture. And I was just like, this bitch coming to my house, putting me to work right away. The first night I was just like, okay. I wasn't as much of an enemy kind of thing with you anymore because I was like, I guess she's kind of cool. But then it was like, we were talking about cosplay and then we were talking about house.
I remember specifically you had Ren and Lynn headsets that you guys made out of craft foam on your table.
That's right. Oh, I forgot about how much fail those
I remember that.
I feel like you were such a legit cosplayer because you actually like made your things and like crafted and stuff, and we would buy our costumes and then we would make bullshit things out of like dollar store things that we would get and we'd be like, good enough.
See, I felt the opposite because I can sew, but I couldn't make props or anything out of craft foam yet.
We couldn't really either.
It looked better than anything I could have done.
Yeah, so I thought you were really cool that you like made all your own costumes. So the next morning, we got ready to go to the graduation, and I think we just walked up, and yeah, Emily was like super shocked because it's like we were just going off on this thing about how much we hated each other, and she was convinced we like could not stand each other, which I think is kind of funny because it was like we played up that we hated each other a lot for people who never spoke.
Yeah, anybody else would have seen through it.
Right? Like, it's so funny, but like, yeah, Emily didn't catch on at all. So when she saw us together, like coming over, it was just like a huge shock for her. And she was just like, what? And we're like, oh yeah, by the way, we've been talking for weeks. Yeah, that was basically how it started. Do you still have that picture of the three of us?
I don't. At least not on me.
I think Emily actually posted that like on DeviantArt or Tumblr or something like that because I remember seeing it just like laughing about it.
It was probably on Tumblr because I don't recall it being on DeviantArt, and I was never on Tumblr.
Yeah.
God, we're old.
I know, right? Gosh.
Who even uses DeviantArt anymore?
Dude, I go on it every once in a while just because I have like old pictures on there, so I'll like go back and look at them. But like, yeah, now it's like nobody cares.
Nobody. Just like MySpace.
I never used MySpace. Did you have a MySpace?
Oh God, yeah, I had a MySpace. We had before we had DeviantArt, we had hi MySpace pictures. Not HIGH, it's HI like hello. Meaning like we posed in an awkward pose and then we waved at the camera.
Wow.
At one point I was, quote, cosplaying Winry Rockbell. It was basically a suit, okay? With a pleated skirt. That's what it was. Because I didn't have like her other outfit. But I did this weird pose where it was mostly my butt hanging out and me waving at the camera with a wrench in my hand.
What? Does that picture still exist somewhere?
Somewhere. I don't know where, but yes, it does.
Oh, man. I had a MySpace account, but only so I could harass Wendy Powell so she would do a special birthday thing for Tenna.
Wendy.
She's the voice for Envy from Fullmetal Alchemist.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, so back then, because like nobody really did conventions and stuff, or like voice actors went to conventions, but it wasn't nearly as common as now, and like if they did, it was kind of hard to talk to them and stuff. So before Facebook was really popular and things like that, I went on MySpace. I made a MySpace account just so I could message Wendy Powell because I saw she was on there, and I was like, hey, can you do something special for my friend's birthday? Because Tenna was like a huge Envy fan.
Did she do it?
And yeah, she did. You've never heard that story?
No!
So yeah, for Tenna's 16th birthday, she's a huge Envy fan, and so I was like thinking about it for like months ahead. I was like, I want to get a hold of Wendy, and I want to see if she'll like do a recording for Tenna, because I thought that would be kind of cool. And I was like, yeah, it'll be something that nobody else can get her, so it'll be really special. Went on MySpace, found Wendy, and just messaged her being like, hey, I'm a big fan of yours. My friend is a huge fan of yours also. Her birthday is coming up. It'd be really cool if you could do like a recording, just saying like happy birthday. I was just like, can you just do a quick recording of you just saying happy birthday? And like weeks went by and she didn't get back to me, and I was like, okay, well, this is bust. And I think it was like a week before Tenna's birthday party was happening, I finally got a message back, and she was like, hey, I would love to help you, but all my recording stuff is like not working right now, or she was like out flying or something. Like she wasn't with her recording stuff at the moment. So she's like, I can't really do anything for you. And I was like, oh, that's okay. That's fine. And so she was like, but if you promise not to give anybody my phone number, I'll call her on her birthday. And I was like, and so I was like, oh, that'd be really awesome. And she's like, yeah, give me your number and I'll call you after I get done with one of my recording sessions or something for the day. And so I was like, oh, that'd be so cool. Thanks so much, blah, blah, blah. And so like a week goes by and we haven't really talked or anything since then. And it goes to Tenna's birthday party. And I'm like bragging the whole night. I'm like, this gift is going to be so great. You're going to love it. Everybody's going to be so jealous. And Tenna's like, okay, I'm so excited, whatever. And like, no phone call came. No phone call happened. I'm like, all night, I keep like looking at my phone. I'm like waiting. Nothing happened. And I'm like, as the hours are ticking by, my heart is just like sinking. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I like built this up in my mind. I told Tenna it was going to be so good, and like nothing is happening. We go to bed, and around like 1 or 2 a.m., my phone starts ringing, and I like pick it up and I look and I see it's a known number from Houston, which is where Wendy was living. And so I immediately like grab it and hand it to Tenna. Like we were asleep. Tenna's like still half asleep, and I just throw my phone basically at her, and I'm like, quick, answer it. She picks it up, and she's like, again, she's still like half asleep. She picks up the phone and she answers it, and she's like, hello, and her eyes go so big, like saucers. So yeah, so Wendy sang to her happy birthday in Envy's voice, and like Tenna's just like freaking out the whole time, and then they ended up talking on the phone for like an hour.
Aww.
And she was, I guess Wendy like sang to her different like Jonas Brothers songs because she was a huge Jonas Brothers fan. And she was like yelling at her dog in like Envy's voice and calling her dog a little bitch and stuff. And like, so it was like this whole thing. They talked for like ever. I mean, like, I think I ended up like falling back asleep, but they did that and everything. And then we went back to sleep. And then in the morning, Tenna was telling me about it. And to this day, it's like her favorite birthday gift that anybody's ever gotten her. And we always say that it would be really cool to actually meet Wendy in person and see if she remembers that at all, because it's been like 12 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was really cool. But that's why I have MySpace. And I guess she told Tenna that I had been harassing her for weeks until I like messaged back and like did it and stuff, and I was like, that's not quite how it went, but okay.
Now you have to get Mike McFarland to call me.
I don't even know who that is.
The voice actor of Gene Havoc.
Okay, I was like, I feel like I know that name, but I feel like it's easier now to get a hold of people, but at the same time, it's a lot harder. Because now there's like Cameo and stuff that you can do.
We just went on a big tangent, by the way.
I mean, yeah. We're talking about how we met, and then we started talking about MySpace randomly. Yeah.
But anyways, and then after that, didn't we lose contact for a while?
Yeah, I don't think we talked to each other for a while, and then it was like Emily and I started going to Medford a lot more to hang out with you. I mostly just remember, gosh, how many times did we go to that park?
We went to the park a few times.
Yeah, because there was like one day we went and just kind of like hung out, and then there was another time we went where with the costumes, and when I went in the little like stream or whatever.
That was just you, me, and Emily though. That wasn't one of our picnics.
Yeah, no, I think we only went to 2 of the picnics. One of the picnics, I can't really remember.
But then there was the time where we went to Bear Creek Park. And it was all of us together. Like, Scarlett was there, Heather was there, Sam was there.
I remember one picnic. I thought there were 2, because I thought there was one where it was like, yeah, Scarlett and them, because you were wearing were you in Tifa that day?
No, Yuffie.
Yuffie, yes. Because I have pictures from that. But then there was another picnic with a bunch of people that like I did not know at all.
I mean, not
that I knew them that well, but I knew that they were your friends. I thought there was another picnic. I don't even know if maybe you weren't there for that one.
Possible. I wasn't there.
There was one picnic we went to, and it was like, we didn't stay very long because we didn't really know anybody. It was like a big potluck is what it was. And like everybody brought a ton of food. And like we brought a bunch of food.
Was this the one in Central Point Park?
It might have been. I don't remember.
I was at that one. I remember that one. I was in Riku.
Was that it? I remember going to one and it wasn't that fun.
Yeah, the Bear Creek Park one was more fun than the Central Point one.
Because there was that one where we brought Angel, and then there was the one with like Scarlett and them, and Angel wasn't there. It was just like you, me, and Emily, and then them.
I love how you talk about my friends like them.
Well, I said it like that because I was in thought trying to remember exactly. But yeah, it wasn't nearly as fun.
I forgot about the one that was in Central Point. Wow.
Almost nobody was really wearing costumes. A lot of people were wearing the like Organization 13 cloaks.
Yep.
But that was it. Like nobody was in like real costumes for the most part, which kind of bummed me out because we were wearing our Vocaloid stuff. Yeah, you were Riku and Scarlett was.
Was she Aerith? No. Nope. That was a Bear Creek one. I might have a video of it.
I remember Scarlett was like throwing a stick in the air to try and get a picture of it so it looked like it was levitating.
That was Bear Creek.
Was it? Okay. That's what I thought, but I couldn't remember.
So we did those.
Yeah.
And then you, I, Heather, was it Angel? When you were in your Mokina hats?
Oh yeah, that was in Grants Pass.
That was in GP.
Yeah, that was just the 5 of us, I believe. I saw pictures from that one.
Me too. That one was fun. But then we fell out of contact again. You moved up here.
I moved up here. We didn't really talk. We didn't talk for years.
Yeah, we just didn't talk for a long time.
I didn't even know you were moving up here. I think Emily eventually said something like, oh yeah, Chelsea's moving up here. And I was just like, who? Oh, right, her. I don't even remember how we got in touch once you moved up here.
I know that one point you were like, I'm so bored. I wish I had friends up here. And I'm like, me too. Let's hang out. And then we did. And now look at us.
But there's like, it's so weird because there's like a big blank spot in my memory. Like, I do not remember like the first time we hung out. I just remember we eventually started hanging out like all the time. Because we hung out after Emily had already moved back down to Grants Pass, right? The 3 of us never hung out.
Yeah, the 3 of us never hung out, and then she moved down, and then you were depressed because you didn't have any more friends up here.
Yeah.
And then boom.
Yep, and then you came around.
Then this bitch showed up, and she just weaseled her way into my life.
Pretty much. Yeah. We didn't hang out at like KomoriCon or anything. Like we never really hung out at conventions. There was like that one KomoriCon.
One time that was you and I ran into each other in the parking garage. And I still have that picture.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was before we were like friends.
Yep.
That was what, 2010? No, it was 2009. So we might not have even known each other then.
It was the second KomoriCon that I ever went to.
Because yeah, we vaguely knew each other because of Emily's graduation, but we weren't really like friends. Because you didn't even know that was me when you took the picture.
No, because I saw the Neptune.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, Neptune, can I get your picture? And then I saw you and I went, hey, I know you.
And I was just too tired and did not give a fuck, so I wasn't even paying attention to who you were. Gosh, 2009. Yeah, that was an interesting KomoriCon year, that's for sure.
I mean, that's where I started being friends with Clint, so.
How did you two meet? Was it just at a meetup at KomoriCon?
Clint and I actually met at SoccerCon first, and then he asked where the Final Fantasy shoot was at KomoriCon that same year.
You guys asked me.
Whatever. Someone asked somebody for directions to where the photo shoot was. We never found it, by the way.
I feel like that happened a lot in 2009. Like, there were so many like photo shoots I was supposed to go to and then could not find. But it's because the KomoriCon was being held at the Hilton in downtown Portland. So it was like the photo shoot was like at Pioneer Place, and then there was Pioneer Square, and then there's Director Park, and like nobody knew where these places were.
Nobody. I remember one of the first nights we were supposed to meet up with a bunch of people at a pizza place.
Pizza.
And we all piled on to the blue line trying to find the pizza place that we've never heard of.
Mm-hmm.
That was supposed to be on the blue line.
Mm-hmm.
We never found it.
If it was Pizza, it was literally across the street and around the corner from the hotel because we went there all the time.
They told us to go hop on the blue line and we'll find it.
Yeah, that's wrong.
Moricon forms, man.
Yeah, Komoricon 2009. I remember we survived off eating like bagels because we brought bagels because we didn't know where anything was. So we were like, we couldn't find any food places, but we also didn't want to like wander too far from the hotel and get lost. So we survived off eating like bagels in our hotel room, bagels and little pepperonis. So we made like little pepperoni pizzas with the bagels. And then it was like the last day we realized there's fucking Pizza Schmitza and Carl's Jr. and this really good Chinese place, like all just around the corner, a block away. And we were so pissed that we didn't know that it existed there. So the next year when it was there also, we knew where all those places were. And we're like, fuck this, we're not starving this year.
In your opinion, with Komoricon, for all the years that you've actually gone, whether as the full weekend or just a day, where was your favorite location?
That's so tricky because it's like the Komoricons for 2009 and 10 that were in downtown Portland, those were probably my favorite years, but location-wise, it was not ideal.
It was hell location-wise.
Yeah, especially back then because there was only like 2 parking garages in that area, so you had to like drive all over trying to find spaces, and then it was like having to trek all the way back to the hotel with all the stuff. So it's like the location itself was hell, but those years were fun. I think I really liked it in Vancouver.
I loved it in Vancouver.
I wish that the Red Lion was a little closer because it was kind of annoying that like all my friends and everything were over at the Red Lion and we had the Hilton. And so it was like constantly, like it wasn't far of a walk, you know, but when you're also exhausted and it's hot or whatever, like walking over there is kind of annoying. But I liked that the park was right there. The hotel itself was pretty nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really liked the Vancouver area. The only problem I think was the Saturday market. Like, I loved going to the market, but it was a little inconvenient that it was happening.
See, I loved the fact that the Saturday market was happening there. That's why it's my favorite location. We didn't have to go to fast food or what we brought or these expensive restaurants. We could actually go get something tasty for really freaking cheap that wasn't fast food.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's the one thing I didn't like about Vancouver is there weren't many food options just along the river. So the market was really nice. I just didn't like it because it meant there were a lot of people there and all the people didn't know what was happening. So they'd be like, what's going on? Is there a Comic-Con going on? Are you guys filming something? So that was kind of annoying. So it was like the park got a lot busier with like normal people.
Yeah.
But I loved the market itself. Like, that's what we would do every day for lunch and sometimes dinner, depending on if we had an early dinner or not.
See, one of my favorite memories, I don't think I've told you this, but one of my favorite memories with you specifically is when you, I, and Van went to the Saturday market in our Plus Anima outfits.
That was so fun.
It was so much fun.
I really, like, we didn't get to be in our Plus Anima that much, but I had such a blast being Koro because people kept giving me free food. I was also just happy that people knew who we were.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved it so much. It was so fun. That other Koro, though, like, hated me.
She hated you so much.
I don't even know why. I was so excited just to see another Koro, and she wanted nothing to do with me.
I wonder if she was... I don't want to like push this on her, but part of me wonders if she was one of those elitist cosplayers like, oh, I cosplayed this because nobody else is going to cosplay them. Mm-hmm. And then you showed up.
Yeah, that could be. I'm not really sure.
Who knows? We'll never know unless we magically find her and ask her.
Well, it's so funny because it's like, I remember Bree and Tenna said that they ran into her. And she was like really nice to them. And I was like, yeah, she did not like me. But yeah, I loved being Koro. People knew who I was, and the ones that did gave me free food. So that was awesome. Yeah, free cookies. I got some apples. I think I got some kind of like meat thing. I think somebody gave me a little piece of meat. I can't remember, but it was fun.
I think somebody gave you jerky.
Yeah, something like that. And I was just like, okay.
Somebody could have poisoned you and you wouldn't have
I
freaking
know.
know.
You guys were like, maybe you shouldn't eat food that strangers are giving you. But the thing with me is, like, also when I'm in the costumes, like, I am that character. Like, I don't think about any of that stuff. So I was just like, free food, let's eat. Let's have a good time. Let's maybe not get, like, drugged. But if it happens, you know, it happens.
Maybe not get drugged.
I mean, the first year I was alone at KomoriCon was that year that I went to the room with Aaron. That was like terrifying. I thought I was gonna die. I was convinced that I was gonna die, and I was like, it figures. The first time I'm alone at a convention with no adults, they warned me not to go off with strangers, and what do? Go off with a stranger. Yeah, that's another story for another time too. But so your favorite location then was also Vancouver.
Yes, my favorite location was Vancouver, specifically because that's where I made the most friends and where I had the most fun. But not last year, the year before I went to KomoriCon. You didn't go when it
Nope.
was down at the convention center.
Mm-hmm.
And I met this cosplayer who I really enjoyed, Rekazor, Rekkazor,
Mm-hmm.
Rekazor, something like that. I don't know. She was pretty cool, but I didn't realize that I've met her before in cosplay chess.
Isn't that funny when you don't realize you've met somebody because they're in costume or something?
It was so funny. So it's like, you look so familiar. I know I've met you before, but I can't figure out where. And then, like a month or so ago, I'm like, oh my god, it was Yosuke in cosplay chess when I was Zelda.
I never did cosplay chess. I always wanted to.
It was fun. I think it was the most. I wouldn't say that was the most fun, but it was one of the more fun times was when I was Raven. The Animaniacs were on the board, and they were against my team.
Mm-hmm.
And they were so much fun. And for me, when I went to go kill them, they did the whole "Hello, nurse"
That's funny.
thing. I loved them so much.
I didn't even realize you wore Raven to a KomoriCon.
Yeah, I got so much recognition in that costume.
Oh, I'll bet.
Like there were two Assassin's Creed guys,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, "Oh man, you guys are really awesome. Can I take your picture?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure, but can we also then take a picture with you?" And I was like, "Okay."
It's like every year there's something crazy I could probably talk about.
What was, if you could possibly think of what was your favorite cosplay moment, period?
I have to think of like all my costumes. Gosh, I mean, like anytime I was in my Haruhi stuff was great. I feel like when I think of cosplay, I think of me wearing my Haruhi costume. I guess I would think about that first KomoriCon because it was like such a big deal for me.
How much you guys practiced that dance?
We did no. The first year for 2008, me and Kristen worked very hard on learning the dance, and we were supposed to have like a big meetup where we all split into groups and did the dance individually kind of thing, but only like 10 people showed up. So we still did some of it, but it wasn't like what we were imagining. But it was still fun. The year after, for 2009, that was the year we did like the Haruhi boot camp, where middle of summer we went to the all sports park and I had Toya parked.
Nobody knows who Toya is, by the way.
Toya's my forerunner that is no longer with me. But I was blasting Hari Hari Yukai in the parking lot. No shade. There was no shade. We were in the sun. It was mid-afternoon because we were all doing this like after work. It was baking hot. And I made Nick, Kristen, Emily, and Carlina do Hari Hari Yukai. And if any of them stepped out of line, like, I kid you not, if they were just like a centimeter off on their steps or out of their sync, I would stop the music and make them start all over. And we did this for hours. They hated it, but they still were talking about it for a long time. They're like, remember that time you made us do like Hari boot camp? And I'm like, yeah, I do. And yeah, I mean, they were motivated not to fuck up, let me tell you. And it paid off. Like, when you watch the videos of us doing Hari Kai from 2009, like, we are so fucking in sync. Like, it's beautiful. That was a good year. I'm trying to think of what would be, like, my, like, favorite cosplay kind of moment. What would yours be?
There's so many.
I know. I'm like, it's like every year there's like a moment that was my favorite, but like overall, that's really, really hard.
When you tell me to think about, it's not really a favorite, but when you talk to me about like a cosplay memory, when I first got to cosplay Serena or Usagi to SakuraCon, the first year I went, 2009, I was walking through dealer's hall, and all of a sudden I hear this little bitty voice, Serena, Serena! And I turn around, and there's this adorable little kid who's demanding a picture. And I'm like, yes, of course, I will take a picture with you, but I also want a hug.
Aww.
That is cute. One my early cosplay memories at conventions. Is one of my favorite things.
I never had that moment. I feel like a lot of cosplayers have that moment where like a small child came up to them and they were so excited. And I'm like, I never had a small child do that with me, I don't think. If it did, I don't remember it.
There was another time that did happen with a little tiny Link when Clint and I were Zelda and Link, but it didn't happen to that extent.
I'm like, I've had like adults say that they like my costume or that they really like my character and stuff.
Have you had somebody that you didn't expect to get excited over your costume get excited over your costume? And if so, what costume was that?
Oh gosh. Again, there's a few that come to mind. I'm like trying to think of all the costumes that I've even had because there's so many.
Yeah, you've had more than I did.
Because I bought them all.
Yeah, exactly. You bought them.
I was literally, because for the longest time I was working 40 hours a week at McDonald's, but I was still living with my parents, so it was just disposable income. So I bought I have so many costumes that like I didn't even wear, like ever. I bought them. Some of them I put on just to see if it fit, and that was it. Like I never wore them. That's a story. Okay. You know Bryce.
No.
You dance. Oh no, that's Josh. Sorry, you don't know Bryce.
It's like, I didn't dance with anybody named Bryce. I remember that because that was supposed to be my name if I was born a male.
Bryce?
Yes.
That would have been interesting. No, Bryce was one of my first convention friends. I was Haruhi and he was Kyon, so naturally we liked each other. I think he really only hung out with us because he had a crush on Nick, and Nick had a crush on him. But anyway, he was one of my first friends, and 2011, when KomoriCon... No, it wasn't 2011. It was 2012. KomoriCon was over in Vancouver. And the whole weekend, there was a Mako cosplayer from Legend of Korra. And I was, like, super obsessed with it at the time. And I kept seeing this Mako cosplayer everywhere. And I was, like, geeking out over this guy for, like, so long. And I was like, oh, he's so cute. Like, I want to talk to him. I want to get his picture. But it's, like, awkward and weird. And so the whole weekend I just like did not interact with this guy, but every time I'd see him, I'm like do that giggly crush kind of thing, you know? And I didn't have my glasses on most of the weekend because all my costumes didn't wear glasses, and I tried wearing contacts that year, but it didn't really work out. So anyway, the last day I was actually wearing my glasses, and I saw the Mako cosplayer coming my way, and I was like kind of blushy and stupid and everything, and we like walked past each other. And we both, like, made eye contact and kind of smiled at each other and everything. Like, whatever. We knew it was happening. And like, he walks by me a couple steps, and I'm like, wait. And I turn around, and I'm like, Bryce? And he turns around, and he's like, oh, my God, it's you. And I was like, I have been crushing on you all fucking weekend, and it's you. And he started cracking up laughing. He's like, I've been crushing on you all weekend too. Because he had seen me in my Haruhi costume, and he was such a fan of Haruhi. So it was just like this stupid thing. And we started like cracking up laughing over it. And we like caught up for like 5 minutes or whatever, but then he had to go. But then I was like, wow, I feel real fucking stupid now. But yeah, that was funny. What about you? Do you have some fun cosplay idol moment thing?
I actually met and became friends with one of my cosplay idols. I didn't even realize it. It was funny though because Courtney, he was like one of my friends that I also sponsor is in your area when I moved up here. And I was like, okay, cool, who's that? And they're like, this person. And I'm like, cool. So I went and I met them. And it turns out that I have been crushing on her costumes since I started cosplaying.
That's hilarious.
And I was like, I don't know how to express this. Like, one point, her and I were talking about Blaze Blue. And I'm like, oh, I've always wanted to cosplay from this person from Blaze Blue. And they're like, oh, I cosplayed that person. And then they showed me, and I went, wait a second. I have had this photo saved on my computer since this was posted. I am talking to this person right now, and she made this thing from scratch. You're amazing. Thank you, Courtney, for allowing me to meet Joe.
One moment that like kind of got me was it was 2013, which was the year we did our Modica group, and I was like really depressed that year, like really bad. Mm-hmm. And I remember at one point we were in dealer's hall, and like I did not want to be there at all, but like everybody I was with was like, we want to look at dealer's hall, blah blah blah. So I went and like sat in this, yeah. So I went and like sat in this corner by myself, kind of like behind a booth somewhere, just kind of like trying not to cry. I'm like just sitting there in my Monica costume, looking all cute, but I'm like trying so hard not to cry because I was like so depressed at this time. And like this lady came up and she was just like, I'm sorry to bother you, but I just wanted to say that your costume is really good. You're the best Monica I've ever seen. And I was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. And like it totally made my day.
Aww.
And it was really nice. Yeah. Even though I bought it, I did a lot of alterations on it. So I was pretty proud of it.
You say that you liked my cosplays, but honestly, I started out by altering things from Goodwill. Mm-hmm. My first version of Final Fantasy X Riku was a orange turtleneck that I cut up and added random elastic bits to the side from Walmart, and I hand crocheted the scarf. No, wait, that was Thief Riku. I hand made the side pocket thing. Mm-hmm. You know how she has a black pocket on her leg? Mm-hmm. I made that out of a babbit. Do you know what a babbit is?
Yeah.
It's a bunny bat.
Yeah, no, I know what a babbit is.
It was a babbit bag that I had gotten from Suncoast at some point.
Like Kodacha's babbit?
Yes, that's exactly it.
Wow. Okay then.
It was one of those bags. I turned it inside out and I taped it to my leg with electric tape. My mom had to hand cut the little triangle points at the bottom for me as she was putting the tape on my legs.
That's so funny.
Yep.
The first couple years, I was just buying. And then I was like, no, I'm going to start making my costumes. But by making my costumes, I mean I would get some fabric and hot glue it together. And that is how I made my entire Shadowrun outfit. It's like the pants were just like cargo pants I bought. The shirt was a black tank top that I hot glued some little like dangly bits on for the little like suspender pieces or whatever they are on his costume. And then the cloak was a cape one of my friends' parents had made for me like years before. And I cut off the sleeves and I just hot glued the holes together. So it became a cape. I still have the cape because I was like, this is so stupid.
You still have that?
Oh, I still have it. It's like one of my favorite things. I like hot glued a little like piece of fabric to be like a cusp in front for the cape so it would stay together. It's so low, cheap budget, but like it looks good. But it's like if you put that thing in like a washer and dryer, it would fall apart.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, and yeah, I tried very hard to make costumes after that, and then I was like, you know what, this isn't working. So then I did the thing where, yeah, I would buy costumes and then just like alter them so they were better.
I remember with your Monica one, didn't you have like 4 petticoats?
Yeah, I think I did 3 petticoats for Madoka. So it was super poofy, which was awesome. I loved it, except for when you were going up and down the stairs, which we did a lot. And nobody told me, hey, Corey, we can see your ass. Nobody said that until like the last day when Tenna was like, by the way. I mean, I
This
wore like
whole time.
shorts under it. And like I think I wore like 3 pairs of nylons kind of thing. So yeah, no, my ass stuck out. And if you look at the pictures, like that skirt is fucking short because of the petticoats. Cause yeah, I wore so many petticoats. Cause her dress is so poofy. I wanted mine to be poofy.
Let's wrap this up with
Go
your
do.
favorite voice actor moments at cons.
Oh well, that's cheap.
I love the story and I wish I could have been part of it because I know what yours is.
Maybe I want to tell a different one then.
No, I will cry.
You weren't there for that?
I wasn't there for that.
I thought everybody was there to witness that.
Anyways.
Yes, what is yours?
Let me think. The one that comes to mind the most would be when I met. I'm terrible. Guys, I'm sorry. I don't know actresses and actors' names. But the one I fangirled over the most, the voice actor for Snow from Final Fantasy 13 and from Vincent from Catherine, I was so starstruck that all I could say was thank you. Everybody else beforehand, I was like, thank you, you're awesome, yada yada yada. But all I could say was thank you because he's the reason I want to get into voice acting. And I couldn't say anything.
Really?
Yes.
I'm like looking him up right now because I'm like, what is his name? I know when I say it, I'll be like, oh yeah, right. Troy Baker!
Yes.
I should have known that. I was literally just looking up a bunch of stuff with Troy the other day because
I
he's friends
love
with Ethan.
Troy Baker so much. I would die if I was able to voice act in something with him. But yes. And he was like, oh, you're so polite. And then I had to leave. And I was like, I want to talk to him more. So Troy Baker, if you ever hear this, just know I love you so much.
I love you, but not enough to actually talk to you.
Not in a romantic way, but like I respect you so much.
You know, that was one of the one you're thinking of is definitely one of my favorites, but you know, I have a lot of voice acting stories. I have a lot from the very first convention that I went to, and I'm trying to think of I guess I can tell that story that you're thinking of.
Please tell that story.
I do have other more fun stories, but yeah, I guess I can get into that a different day. Yeah, for this one, it was KomoriCon 2012. Yes, 2012. And I was a big Todd Haberkorn fan because I can't even remember what the role was that really got me obsessed with him, but I was obsessed with him. And anyway, he went to KomoriCon like every year, basically. And we were sitting in the lobby, and I was being a freak, as I am. And I kept saying jokes about how this was like the year that I was going to finally like talk to him kind of thing. Because it was like, we kept going to KomoriCon every year, and every year I wouldn't get his autograph. So I was like, this is the year. This is the year that I am going to finally like talk to him, get his autograph, blah, blah, blah. And as I was like in the middle of saying this, he fucking walks into the lobby and goes to the elevators. I like shut up. And everybody's just like, what's wrong with Corey? She all of a sudden has stopped talking, which is very rare with me. And I just kind of like look over at him, and Tenna sees him. And I'm pretty sure it was Tenna who initiated it, but they were like, quick, go in the elevator with him. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. And they're like, no, we got to do this. So they grab me and like bring me over to the elevator. And like people were loading into the elevator already, but it was like KomoriCon, so there's like a pretty big line. And they're like, we have room for one more. And they just grab me and shove me into the elevator, and the doors like shut. And so I'm in the elevator with Todd Haberkorn and like a bunch of other like random people. And I'm standing there just like biting my tongue, like shaking like a leaf standing next to this guy. He's probably like, I don't know what this chick's problem is. Like, obviously everybody saw everybody shove me into the elevator kind of thing. And so, like, he gets off at his floor, I go to mine, and I just, like, I died a little inside. I died inside. And then, like, they all met me at the room, and they're like, how was it? What did you say to him? What happened? I was like, I didn't say a damn word. I did not do anything. Oh, it was so bad. And then it was like every time I saw him around the convention, I was like too ashamed to even look in his direction because I was like, I know he knows I'm that freak that was in the elevator with him. Oh boy. I did end up getting his autograph though.
That's good.
Voice actors, man, they're a thing.
Yep.
Yeah. I have all sorts of fun voice actor stories, but that's for another day.
And another week.
Yes. I guess this week we just kind of talked about how we met and then random convention stories, but
next time we'll actually delve into some deeper topics. So if you stick around, thank you oh so much for listening in, and we will see you next time.
Yes. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.